Mya. Thank you so much for joining me today. So first, I just want to ask, how did you learn about the Mississippi Coding Academies and why did you decide to join?
So I have a coworker who actually attended the Mississippi Coding Academy, the night class, maybe the year before I ended up joining. And she had a great time on just talking with her about her experience, what she was learning, how it was going, kind of really pushed me into it because our normal conversation was already revolving around coding, gaining some experience in that, and having this academy that's there. And right now with COVID, just having it online and you're still getting the same experience as if you're in person is awesome for me. But I also have a passion for coding. I've always been into like gaming, things of that nature. So actually getting the hands-on experience to know what's going on behind the screen was great for me. So yeah, I guess that's a little bit of like how I got into it.
Did you feel excited or intimidated when you first started classes?
It's a little bit of both. So there was a little bit of apprehension of will I really will it run smoothly or will I fall into place as I'm learning? And then there's that excitement of learning something new, something that's totally different from what I was originally learning. So my background is within liberal arts, and coding is at the total opposite end of the spectrum of what I'm doing. So there was that apprehension of learning something new and seeing if I'm going to be great at it, am I going to be good at it, will I be able to take to it and run with it. But then there's that excitement of one, learning something new, because I'm a huge big on like learning new things and like just taking those risks regarding education. But then also what I'm doing, because sometimes we envision some kind of an illusion or an idea of how something is going to go until we actually get like knees deep into it. We actually start putting getting hands on with what we're learning. So I'm happy that my illusion wasn't too far off. Like my dream of how it was going to be wasn't that far off. And it helps that there is this community of not only just our professors who's teaching us this, but also of my classmates. And we are like pushing each other on what we're learning. How can we tackle this problem regarding like maybe an error within the code, or what project can we do together and see how can different coders have a different experience of like how they want to code a certain thing, but then two, like what are some of the issues that you tackled? How did you resolve them? And then how can we teach someone else to understand that?
Awesome. You might have just answered this, but what has been your favorite part about the program?
Definitely the community. Definitely the community. So I'm part of the night class. So there's the day class and there's the evening class. And the evening class is primarily mixed up people who have like either schooling or they may have a career or job during the day. So they can't really participate. But it's this opportunity for people from different industries, different backgrounds to come together, learn something that we're all interested in, but then take it from there. So not only do I have this class where we're asking questions, understanding what's going on, and coding a project together, then a group of us, we meet afterwards and we start to like dig deeper into what we're learning, and as well as apply what we're learning now to what we've learned before, to projects that we may have seen, things we want to actually build. So just having a community of people who is able to send resources to one another, who's able to like just like maybe you have this issue with your code and you're like, oh, I can't find anywhere on Google that can help me. I put it into Discord that we're using for communication and everything. And then someone else is able to like respond back or like help me out or maybe like jump in when they have free time for us to go over what's going on and then be able to break down what the code is doing or what this particular part of the code is supposed to be doing for us to be able to understand. And then if we have to do the same particular tag or element, then we understand what it does and how can we teach someone else how to do it.
Sounds like you've got a great team. Maya, has it been challenging going to school full time at night and also working a full time job?
It's similar to any anything you do in life where you have to learn time management and balance. Uh, so a lot of that balance is trying to figure out, will I have enough time to sleep? Because coders never really have. I, I feel like we never really have any kind of time management because we can go into a rabbit hole trying to figure out an issue or trying to create this particular product. It's been rewarding because we have a cutoff time for whenever I'm meeting with a group of people that we meet after class, so that we'll be able to hit the ground running for our actual day job. Uh, so it's no more different than having a regular, like going to college or high school and actually still having to work. It's no different from there.
Well, we talked about the students and how much of a team you guys are. Tell me a little bit about the instructors at the Coding Academy.
They are they are awesome. Oh wow. So and I guess I can tell you guys this. The funniest thing happened. It was with me and the group of students that we meet together in the evenings. We're working on incorporating some new languages into some of the old responsiveness that we worked on in the beginning of the academy. And we kept hitting some road bumps because we were taking a different approach to creating this particular game. And we kept messaging our teachers to try to get someone to come in. And the funny thing was, like, one of my classmates, he kept saying he was rubbing the lamp, like from Aladdin, rubbing in the genie lamp. And our professor would hop in, and it was the funniest. For us, it was funny because just how much dedication they have and passion they have for coding and making sure that we understand things, that we're learning things, and that we are not just sitting in the classroom and being lectured, but we're taking it and building other things or trying to figure out other ways to continue the learning process. And and not only is it a learning community, it's just like a community of fun and laughter. And we talk about some of the different things that's going on within the world around us and how coding can either help that, how can this community continue to be just that community that's thriving amongst all of us.
I can tell you're very passionate. That's wonderful. So you've got a full-time job, you're going to school full-time. How does it feel knowing that when you complete this school, you'll have this certificate, this degree to code and make upwards of $40,000 a year to start off with no student loans? Put you in a pretty good position, I would say.
Definitely, definitely. Uh, it's almost like the dream career or education track that anyone would want. No student loans, learning within a community that's for you and centered around how can you prosper, and then also being in this world of coding that a lot of people may have not really thought about, and loving it. It's an interesting position to be in. Uh, yeah, it's kind of mind blowing of how this academy is not as long as you would think it's pursuing like a bachelor's, which is 4 years, or associates, or but you're still getting the same amount of experience. You're still learning the same or a good portion of that that legwork within coding. For that, once you leave, you're able to, one, be confident in the skills that you have learned, and then to be able to pursue whatever the job direction you want to go into within coding, because there's so many different focus areas that you can pursue, like whether you're looking at like front end work for websites or you're looking at game development. So it's lovely.
That is lovely. Tell me your thoughts on, let's see how to word this. Tell me your thoughts on how you feel about the coding academies and how they're offering this in Mississippi, where it seems before you'd have to go to a larger city to get this type of education and then continue to work in this sort of like remote setup that we're in now since the pandemic?
It's the first of many. I think that it is creating this path for other programs to exist, or for individuals within Mississippi, for all of us to feel like this is a pathway that you can pursue, whether you are just graduating from high school, or you have like taken a few college courses, or just going back and trying to change your career goal. I think that it's the start of so many different, or so many new things that's yet to come. It sparks of hope for a lot of people, of hope of what the future will bring, especially looking at how news, or a lot of people's perception of Mississippi is. So it clashes with that, to say that, hey, these things do exist within Mississippi, and that there are so many more avenues that are yet to be explored. So, and the second part about like for the online, given COVID and everything, it kind of sparks of how people look at education. For me, it showcases that even though we are virtual, we're still doing everything to the top, or we're still putting our all into making sure that we're understanding, making sure that we're learning. That even though we're not in person, we're still getting the in-person experience, even since we're virtual.
That's wonderful. It's so convenient. I actually love being virtual. I want to ask, how old are you? If you don't mind me asking.
No, I am 25.
25. Awesome. So what were you doing before the Coding Academy, since high school?
So since high school, I pursued a bachelor's in history, and got a master's in history also. So I've been like a schoolgirl anyway. And I have been, for the past few years, working with the city of Jackson on projects, education, and workforce development. So I have been working, and having this exposure has been mind-blowing, but lovely at the same time, and it pushes you.
Well, where do you see yourself then in 5 years regarding your career?
So for me, in 5 years, my goal is to use what I'm learning right now in the academy and combine it with education. So what I've already been doing educational wise, like with history, and create a path for students within Mississippi to learn languages, or learn education, whatever topics, and have it gamified. So it's similar to a few internet websites that have like in English, math, you see a lot of games that kind of teach students lessons, but it's this kind of new way of approaching it. So how can I incorporate that for other subjects, especially for history? Because if you ask the average person, they really don't want to talk about history. They only really learn it for K through 12, only to pass like the history exam. So how can you get people interested in history, as well as making sure that they retain what they're learning? So that's like one of my first and foremost goals. And then the other one is to like really grow more into other game development languages. So I am right now pursuing to learn like C++, and then eventually branch off into some other languages to learn and gain under my belt.
That is amazing. I think that you have a very bright future ahead of you. Thank you so much for talking to us. Is there anything else you'd like to say about Mississippi Coding Academies?
I think if you are at a crossroad in your life and you're thinking like, maybe I'm interested in gaming, or I've seen some good games and I want to learn more about it, definitely ask us questions, look at the website. If you're at a crossroad and you're like, hey, I have originally had this one path in mind, and now I do not know where to go. I say definitely ask any one of the professors to see, is coding a fit for you? Can I pursue this? And if you're like, hey, I have 11 months and I just want something to learn, I want to like get my feet a little wet and I'm not sure if I want to pursue a career in it, I think you should definitely still come and ask questions, because you never know. Having a little interest may push you to really pursue it full fledged. And you get a career out of it. You gain experience, you gain a community. And what's better than that? Yeah, for me, the Coding Academy has sparked so much in my life and has impacted me in so many ways. And I think it's an opportunity that one doesn't come across so often for people, but then also is an opportunity that you shouldn't pass along. Uh, if you have any interest in coding or any interest in learning in, languages like HTML, CSS, definitely ask questions. Definitely send like a email just to like maybe spark an interest. Maybe talk with any of the classmates I have or any of the professors to see what sparked their interest. And you never know what may happen. And yeah, I think that is me in a nutshell. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was lovely talking to you and very inspiring.